I don't know why I'm going to subject you and myself to this, but I am. So let's jump into it. Brian Kilmeade conducted an interview with Donald Trump on his private plane, Trump Force One, it's called. And I don't have some thoughtful analysis prepped for you on this or anything. I just want to sort of live react to this interview. I came across it, and it is one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. It is the softballiest of softballs. I should say the softest of softballs when it comes to interviews you've ever seen. And please remind yourself as we're watching this, number one, you could never imagine CNN or MSNBC or any quote unquote liberal network conducting an interview like this with a Democratic politician. But it's even more outrageous when Fox News does it with Trump, or if any network did it with Trump, because of who Trump is. And I'll try to contextualize that as we go along, but let's just jump in.
Yeah, it is different. It's been quite nice.
So, as much as you love this plane, how is it different from another plane you're aspiring to get back on? Air Force One.
Oh, that's Air Force One is always Air Force One, even if this is nicer. Air Force One is still Air Force One. I mean, it represents something very special.
Haven't seen you in a while. You look like you're in fighting shape. How much weight did you lose?
Maybe 15, maybe 20.
How?
The hard way. I work. I've been so busy.
Sir, you tried to overthrow American democracy by blocking the peaceful transfer of power through schemes like the fake elector scheme, trying to put together fraudulent electors to get your vice president to count so you could stay in the White House when you lost an election. But tell me about your weight loss. You just work so hard, don't you?
Busy. I haven't been able to eat very much. I'm not able to sit down and eat like a person like you. You can sit down and eat. Me, it's a little bit tougher.
Because you're always moving. Mr. President, have you thought about, as you look to close out this primary, that this is the last election, this is your third one, but the last? Have you getting retrospective at all?
I don't think of it that way. It is, but I don't think of it that way. I think this is just as enthusiastic as I was for the first.
Thank you very much. This is a crowded place.
And I will say we had tremendous enthusiasm for 1 and 2, far more for this one than I've ever seen before. You have to see the crowds we're getting. We have never seen enthusiasm like this, and I think a big part of that, they liked the job I did, but a big part of that is how bad this administration has been.
Is it the lower unemployment for a longer period of time than we've seen in decades? Is it crime getting back down to pre-pandemic levels after a crisis and a spike that started in 2020 while you were president, and crime in some areas getting down to the lowest levels we've seen in decades, despite people believing otherwise because of the propaganda of networks like Fox News? Is it legislation like the American Rescue Plan that's the failure of Joe Biden uplifting people during a crisis, or the Inflation Reduction Act lowering prescription drug costs, capping the cost of insulin at $35 out of pocket per month for seniors, finally letting Medicare negotiate drug prices, something that Donald Trump said that he was going to do but didn't? Biden got it done. Or the historic investment in green energy, making the United States a leader on tomorrow's energy? Or is it the CHIPS and Science Act, investing in American manufacturing, that makes Joe Biden's presidency a failure? Or the PACT Act, expanding veterans' health care? What is it? Is it the economic recovery that outpaced other comparable economies, stunned economists, and flew in the face of the prediction from economists and Fox News hosts who were saying we're going to see a recession because of Joe Biden's horrible governance? But right now our economy is super strong, just a few years after an unprecedented crisis, an economic downturn that you, Donald Trump, mishandled. I wonder what he's referring to.
It's the worst president in the history of our country. This man is grossly incompetent, and he's going to get us into a World War III.
What is the game plan on the final day of a primary? You've been through this before. Can you bring our audience behind the scenes and what your mindset is to close it out? Why did you pick the city you did, and what's the message tonight?
Well, I think this is really just a very special time. We had a great time also in Iowa. As you know, we broke every record in the book, and it was beautiful and fantastic people. And here we have fantastic people. You have them all over the country. It's all the same. We have unbelievable patriots all over the country, and they want to see our country come back. They want to see, it's very simple. They want to make America great again. They want it to be great. They want to put America first. And we are.
And they hope to do that by electing someone who's openly, quote unquote, joking about being a dictator and promises to lock up his political opponents and called for the termination of the Constitution. And hey, let's make America great again by electing the civilly liable rapist and the guy who says the government should come down hard on media outlets that he doesn't like.
And we are doing that, and I think we're doing it at a level that people haven't seen. And I think we're going to be in very good shape.
Right. Can you show me the plane a little?
I mean,
We got the flag.
Instead of spending time talking about how presidential historians and experts on authoritarians think that you quite literally might end democracy, can you show me your plane?
That screen behind you, got the beautiful couches
I
here.
do. We have a nice screen right behind. This is the area, more or less the living room. And if you want, I'll just take you really quick because I have to make a speech. There are a lot of people waiting.
This is the lounge to get away?
Well, this is a nice area that I put you in if you want solitude, which you never want.
Yeah, I never want solitude.
Which you never want.
I like the audience.
These are really working spaces. I'm a worker.
Right.
I'm not a pleasure guy. I'm a worker guy.
And that's why I golfed like half the days I was in office or whatever it was.
And it's just it's a tremendous plane for that. It's got great speed and all the things. It gets us to where we're going on time.
So can I tell you what I noticed?
Go ahead.
When you invited me on the plane one time when you were doing The Apprentice and you weren't running for office, you had a folder full of news articles before the digital age really kicked in, and you were just flipping through. Where's that passion for the news?
I'm done. Okay, sorry. That was already too much. Point is, there are a lot of things you could talk to Donald Trump about. Getting a tour of his plane and asking him about his weight loss situation and being noticeably, visibly blushed or something, feeling so giddy about being around him. I don't know if that's the interview you want to conduct, Brian Kilmeade. You could ask him again about right now, him in the middle of another defamation trial relating to the individual that he was found liable for raping and defaming. You could ask him about that. And you wouldn't see this fluff to this extent on networks that actually care about news. I'll end it there. Make sure to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you want to go beyond that, you can become a member at lukebeaslyshow.com/membership. If you're listening to the podcast version of the show, rate and review wherever you're listening. That is very helpful. I'll talk to you next time.